Hey y'all, how y'all doing? My name is Michelle Early, and by day I am a business teacher here in Maryland. And by passion, I am a minister, I am a mentor, I'm an author, I'm a blogger, I'm all these other things, all these other titles that I have. But my heart's desire is to always get out and talk about God and talk about how He happened to me. So, welcome to my page, welcome to my channel. God happened to me. This morning, I was on the phone with my pastor and I was talking to him about something, and it prompted me to create a short that I shared, but also prompted me to create a longer content to be able to talk to you all. So every morning I get up and on my channel I post a short, a 60-second short, which is entitled Daily Dose of Shout. And it's a little inspirational message to kind of get you started with your day, kind of get you flowing so that you are in a good headspace for whatever you may encounter throughout the course of your day. And then later on in the evening, I post a how y'all doing, where I'm just checking in and seeing how your day went. But my conversation this morning with my pastor prompted the short that I hope you already saw. If not, you can go check it out. The link will be available for you. And in doing that, I wanted to take a moment to come back and to talk to the ladies. The guy that I am currently in a relationship with, this is a conversation that we have often. This is a conversation that I have often when I'm on other people's panels having discussions. And it's something that I wanted to share with the women today. Unfortunately, we're living in 2023 where women are taught so many things about independence and how they can do things on their own. But unfortunately, they're not taught word, the scripture. So I wanted to take a moment to share that with you all. So first, please go over to Ephesians chapter 5, verses 22 through 33, and let's take a look.
10 seconds. Pause if you need to read.
This whole conversation with my pastor got started because I overheard a conversation that my guy, his name is King, he was having a conversation with his father. And that the responses that I heard, I was like, I want to know more. That's me as a person. I always want to know more. When I was younger, my favorite question was why, because I just wanted to know how things worked, how things flowed, what was the rationale behind everything. So I wanted to know more. So I texted my pastor and I said, can you explain this to me? And he said, oh, this is so much more than a text message, just as a phone call that we have to have. So we spoke this morning, and beloved, I'm telling you, that conversation was amazing. But I felt like a little bit of despair because he's pouring all of this knowledge into me about how when a man takes a wife, he gives her three S's. So let's go through those three S's that a man gives his wife. He sanctifies her, he satisfies her, and he sacrifices for her. So the sanctifying for her, what that means is that he makes everything that she does pure and good, and he takes and he increases her. So a woman can come into a relationship, into a marriage at one level, and her husband is supposed to elevate her in everything that he does because of who he is. So that sanctification is that he is making her stronger. He's bringing her up. He's taking her from here to here, which I know it kind of goes against everything that we've ever heard Beyonce, Sierra, and all of them say, where they say that, the woman is doing that to the man is actually doing that to us. And that's Bible, that's scripture, right? The second S is he is supposed to satisfy us. And beloved, I mean that in every single way, shape, and form that you hear the word satisfy, every single way. So I'm gonna just leave it there because you already know what satisfy means. And then the third thing is that a husband is supposed to sacrifice for his wife. And I don't want you to hear sacrifice and mean that that you are completely giving up everything to be with that woman. I mean, there are some things that you are giving up because they talk about that later on around verse 30, 31 in this passage, that you are supposed to leave your parents and be able to cleave to your wife and same and create that household. But a man does sacrifice for his wife. He chooses to put aside some things, not just for her betterment, but for their betterment as a relationship. Because one thing that we often forget is that when a man and a woman unite in marriage, they become one. It's no longer two, it's one. And they are both a representation of the other person. And my pastor said that. He said that when a husband does those three things for his wife, then the wife submits. And I had to sit there and I was like, okay, pastor, I see what you're saying. Because if we're in a relationship, if you are my husband and you elevate me, you make me better, and you satisfy me, every single need that I have, you satisfy. And then you also sacrifice for me. Those are three things that Christ did for the church. Those are three things that the husband is supposed to do for a wife. If you do that, then why can't I do everything else? Why can't I take care of the home? Why can't I be that Proverbs 31 woman? Why can't I go out to the field and make sure everything is good? Make sure everything for my house, for our household, is provided and taken care of. If you do those three things, why can't I do everything else? Because you're bearing the heavy load and the heavy burden just as Christ did for the church. So why can't I? And that's where we are in 2023, where women don't realize, okay, the man is doing for the wife just like Christ did for the church, but there still comes a level of work that we need to do. So again, when my pastor was telling me this morning, I was like, oh, that's perfect. That's amazing. I love it. So when he takes the time to sanctify us, when he satisfies us, and then when he sacrifices for us, y'all, we are supposed to submit to him, okay? Submit. Do not be afraid of that word. Do not hear that word and think that you're supposed to be some docile, mute doormat that gets completely walked over. No. Because again, in Ephesians chapter 5, in these verses 22 through 33, we see exactly how a man is supposed to treat his wife, how a wife is supposed to respond to her husband. And if this doesn't help you, beloved, go on over to Proverbs 31. That's Old Testament right there. Go over to Proverbs 31 and read and see what a Proverbs 31 woman does, what she embodies. Because once you read all of that, you realize that this whole modern woman thing is not of God. It is not of scripture. And if there's nothing else that I'm going to do on this channel, I'm going to tell you what the word says, and I'm going to tell you what we should be doing. I'm not going to go based off of any other famous person or anything like that. I'm going to just tell you what the word says. But I'm going to keep it in a way that we can both understand, because that's me. I'm from Baltimore. We break things down a little bit more. I just need you to know this. When I was talking, again, to my pastor this morning, I said, I know this, right? I know this because me as a learner, I love to learn. I love to delve into things, and I'm going to ask questions. So I asked King, I asked my pastor, and then I said to my pastor, how do other women know this? If this is information that you share with a woman and a man when they're coming to you for premarital counseling, then how do I share it with other women? And the thing is, he said that we need to be under a godly covering. And that's where my message from this morning kicks in. We need to be under a godly covering. So when women get married, when they're with their godly husband, that's their godly covering that they're sitting under. And for women who aren't married, that godly covering can come in the form of a father figure, or a pastor. In my case, that's where I get it from. I get these conversations and these answers from my pastor. The word is amazing, but sometimes we do need a little bit of extra help to be able to understand. We need someone to kind of guide us and direct us into the other scriptures that tie into the scripture that we may have a question about. All I know is that we need godly covering, and we need men. Men, if you are still here, if you're still listening, we need you. We love you. Okay? If no other woman has said this to you today, listen to me when I say it to you. We love you. I love you. I can do nothing on this earth without the love and the covering of a godly man. There's nothing I can do, nothing I can become. I am a great woman. I have done amazing things, but none of it has been accomplished without the covering of an amazingly godly man, okay? We love y'all. I need you to know this. Every panel that I get on, I try to stress how much we love men, how much I love men, how much I love my man. I just want to put that out there. The love is real, okay? Ladies, please don't continue to walk around thinking that you don't need a man. You do. You really, truly do. And as I bring this thing in for a close, look, y'all, this is the minister in me. You give me a mic, and I'm gonna just give a sidebar. So in my family, my last name is Early, and on my dad's side of the family, everybody is like a minister. There's some type of intercessory prayer. They're a little bit of everything, right? And one thing that my family always said was, if you give us a mic, we know what to do with it. This is my mic, and I know I know how to talk. And I'm not going to sit here and say I'm going to only be a couple of minutes, because the reality is I'm going to be as long as God tells me to be. But I want you all to hear this. Every single message that I end, I say, I love you. And it's because I do. I think that there's so much despair and heartache and other destructive things that go on throughout the world that we don't realize just how loved we are. If you get nothing else from this channel, I pray that you learn that you are loved, that you are seen, you are appreciated, you are beautiful, you are uniquely made by our God who loves us. And He loves you. I love you. Okay? But ladies, I want you to remember, we need our men. We need that covering that comes from men. We need to move in that being, because men are covered by God, and our men cover us. We never want to lose that spiritual covering, but we have to continue to seek men and to be sought after by men. Please don't walk around thinking that you don't need them, because we do. Please don't think that you can do what a man does, because you can't. You cannot. You cannot do what a man does, and a man cannot do what you were created to do. We have our differences for a reason, and that's how God created us to be. And that's what I want you to walk away with today. That's kind of the summation of everything. Let me bring it on home. We need our men. Men, we need you. We need the covering that you offer. We need the way that you protect us. We need the way that you sanctify us. We need the way that you satisfy us. And we need the way that you sacrifice for us. And once you give us those three things, I promise you, we will submit to you. Beloved, I love you. Thank you so much for sitting around and for chatting with me today. And I'll see you again soon.